Good morning, everybody. All right. I'm sniffling here at the weirdest accident this morning. I went to push a pump down to get some soap to wash my hands, and the soap squirted in my eye. I was booby trapped. All right. Morning. Good morning. All right. So, gap up here today into yesterday's range. Inside day so far. You can see prices are stalled near resistance. S&Ps. Yesterday, as you all know, or will probably do or not, uh, there was that news leaked, and then the White House said, "Oh, that's not true," about the delays. And so I guess to some degree, this is, I'm just talking from what I hear on the news. 70 countries are now, bending the knee to say, "Oh, we'll play ball." So, you can assume for the moment that the worst fears are over. There was quite a bit of selling yesterday. Of course, the stabilization, which finally pushed the internals to an acceptable level. Let's just say an acceptable level. Remember down here, the breadth was barely down near an extreme for such a market decline. So the way the prices went down here, um, historically, we're going to see, well, let's see where today ends. Does it close above yesterday's high? Does it close where it is right now? Does it close with a topping tail bar? You know, Today and tomorrow's the unknown. Um, Yesterday was a stabilization day after a vertical drop. Things were extended, and yeah, we'll just have to see, where they go from here. But sentiment was really at a far extreme seen with bear markets. And the prior 2 years, and probably even before that, levels like this were not seen, even though there were corrections along the way. Sentiment did not get to such a low level as it did now. So that's certainly a plus, and breadth being where it is, certainly a plus. Now we see where prices, with what they do at this resistance area. And this isn't a significant resistance area. It's just that the volatility, the swings are enormous. So finding, other than intraday, setups that provide us with, for swings anyway, relatively, let's say, historically normal stop loss distances, um, you know, will not be easy. Um, I mentioned in the green yesterday the stock rum, which maybe it bottoms out. You can take a look at that. That's one that did not have the huge ranges, and it's bottoming out there. So we'll see if it can clear those highs. We'll keep an eye on that. Other markets, inside day coming up to resistance, same or similar pattern. Russell, inside day, weaker, not quite up toward that resistance area. We'll see if it can work its way up toward there. A little pullback going on here toward minor support. Right? So in theory, based on these shorter time frames, buyers should be willing to step up. Um, and on a short-term basis, prices should not break down below the wide range breakout bar. So looking at that, see similar patterns, wide range breakout bar, prices should not break down below there. Common sense. Dow up near resistance, inside day, top of yesterday's range. We'll see if sellers show up there, what they're going to do. Gold came down, news came out. I suppose it was, buy the rumor, sell the news, and for gold. It's violated the uptrend, closing below major support, held the next support level, rising 50 MA. So in the next couple of days or so, we will see, like everything else that came down vertically in such an extreme way, how they stabilize. Now, keep in mind that meaningful moves, that when I say meaningful, that means that they're likely to continue in the direction suggested by the pattern, and they'll do it without significant whipsaws. Historically, that happens from periods where volatility contracts after extremes in high volatility. So vertical down moves like this, bunch of days down, you're typically going to get small candle bodies, ranges, bottoming tail bars. In addition, the ideal scenario is you get some distance correction through time away from such a vertical move. So plenty of little resistance patches to the left, like we see, and some other things, and we'll just see how they react to them. Give us those measurements of strength or the lack thereof. Okay, not transports. We'll get to those. Silver collapsed, grinding up toward resistance. I mean, drops like this don't recover in a day. You've heard the analogy, falling off a 10-story building or whatever. The legs are busted, you crawl before you run. So there's plenty of people, whether we're looking at silver or something else, there's plenty of individuals, institutions, traders that were blindsided by this to a certain extent and will be happy to sell on any advances. Interest rates, there's a nice plus, recovering as much as they have. After violating this major support level, you can see on the weekly chart, it's still broken down, but the depth of retracement is a big plus as to, interest rates coming up like this. And we'll see how they react here because, as we discussed, as this was happening, this is an implication of recession, transports breaking down, which got decimated, right? The same, and then coming down toward that significant support area, stabilizing. We'll see if these can move up a bit. And it's still recovering. One thing I want to look at here is, so we had this movement in short-term interest rates. Yes, what I wanted to see, that these are recovering. So when I talk about Mr. Schizophrenic as it relates to the markets, well, we follow the chart, Alex. What it means or doesn't mean, we find out in the future. Right? Everybody has predictions about the future. Ones that come true or not, we find out after the fact. But when I see things like this, which were black and white, telling us the market is going to force the Fed to lower interest rates. And so when we see a recovery, not only in the 10-year, but in the 13-week coming back up into this area, that's a good sign. Now, we'd like them to lower interest rates, but the chart that was saying they're going to lower interest rates now says it's more of a neutral opinion, is what the markets are saying. We don't want to see them go back up above here, of course. So we'll see how they react to this retracement in the next couple of days, the same way we will with the broader markets and the 10-year as well. And of course, you can look at TBT, which is interest rates, and that is having a nice recovery into this resistance area also. So the takeaway is the markets, institutions, traders, countries were hysterical, right? I saw the Trump's tablet of tariffs, maybe part of the art of the deal to make everybody crazy, and all the countries saying, we'll play ball. We don't want to deal with this. This is going to hurt our pockets. And they'll come to some reasonable, deals, right? And so the markets are looking at that as a relief, clearly, and it's still going to take some time for this to dissipate because we'll just have to see who makes deals and what the deals are and all of that. Okay, so markets are up. Little buy setup that I suggested they should step up and buy. They have, and coming up again, and up near yesterday's high, up near where resistance is. So we see where that opens. There's an unfilled gap up here. That's a good thing. So intraday, we want to see the reaction to this resistance area. And if it can go sideways, break down failures, confirming patterns, it opens up the door to potentially filling this gap. And so it's up near yesterday's tail bar. I'll recheck. Really nothing got hit yesterday because they were so far away. This is where they were before I started. We'll recheck that. Still far enough away to be no-brainers. Things adjust relatively quickly. Wow, big change. So we'll see what they do at that resistance area. And, common sense, how much will they come down? And so unless something terrible news-wise happens, again, historical patterns, prices will not come down to yesterday's low today. That went up, and that will be the better bet. Well, they'll probably both be fine, but we can find something a little tighter. But when we look at these and we look at ranges, so that was yesterday. Let's figure it's probably about the same or more. I'm putting this where it's about to open, give or take, 200 points in either direction. Well, this should be, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, to go down 200 points and then get back down toward yesterday's low to come near that strike, unless Trump comes out and says, you know what, screw all of these countries, they're all going to get it anyway. The markets will stay well above that level today. So, all yours, Dan. Oh, Bitcoin. There was some little news about Bitcoin up 2,000 points, but it's an inside day also. So really no big deal.
Good morning. Hi, Greg. I sent you and Alex this little news snippet. I was shocked that the markets are up so strong. As the headlines in the journal are saying, China's ready to fight to the end. China and Europe, Canada, Mexico, those are, let's say, our biggest four. But we said the internals market down. We said snapback was imminent. I read that yesterday's volume, I think it said the biggest volume in 18 years on the spiders there. I mean, look at it. It dwarfed even Friday. So they should be put spread galore. I posted a bunch of them already. A number of them are, just see if you get filled. And I'm just guessing on the levels that we're going to need a pullback. But I said, gave one on spiders, cues. We were in this range yesterday, and then we pulled back. But I said in the room yesterday over this 15-minute pivot, so I'm bullish as can be again. Alex got paid. He took a couple of anticipatory ones, so good for you. Crowd, I posted reversal and support. Deck, I just posted. Zero pattern to go long, zero. But we got a gap reversal inside bar, gapping up a little bit, market holding. Bet I'm taking is 93 will hold for next week. We nailed this volatility trade. Shorting naked calls on this yesterday. We did the chart of the week we sent out Sunday night to get people ready for it. That was a beauty, and I posted another one for next week. But I sent my order out, but I don't think we're gonna get filled. Here, give it to you here. So we're still in the weekly options trader, we're still in them. So this is a new one for the advisory. We have very, very light open positions here. In the advisory letter, we only have one LUV, half lot. I said you could add a half lot over this pivot, which looks like it's gapping over it. We did ADI short puts. Now, when the volatility gets that cooked, it's a field day of selling credit spreads. I mean, it was historic, just like all the way back to COVID. So ADI, we sold, this was insane. We sold the 140 puts for Friday yesterday for $2.15. And that's crazy. Let's see where it's at. And then things got real spready yesterday. So I said bid a quarter to get out. We did not get filled. But I'm going to put my quarter bid out again. And then, the VXX I just talked about, call spread, or naked calls rather. And we have Crocs. We actually put this one on Friday. We shorted the naked 85 puts. And now that we're gapping up here, I mean, we should be in nice profitable territory now. Set new alarms. 102. 94. And so that's it. Very light opens. I don't like this big open here today because it's a monster gap to resistance. Ideally we just, perfect for me would have been just opening up somewhere in this 15-minute range and then chopping around till 10 o'clock and then taking out a 30-minute high. Then I would have a ton of directionals, Alex. But yeah, I just posted this rum half lot, yesterday's high, half lot, last week's high. I entered early yesterday. I bought the $7 calls. So I should have a nice open game. Yeah, the administration is going to pay Medicare more. So yeah, these stocks are ripping. But there's no patterns. That's the problem. But this is quite the downside shakeout now that this is a gap breakout. But what are you going to do? I don't know what to do with it. Gap's too big. Look at UNH, which is a component of the Dow 30. And as you know, the diamonds are price based. So this thing, you could calculate it, but that's a monster portion, disproportionately so, of the Dow gains right now. Look at banks. banks are gapping up here. This is a Climos. The problem is the gap's too big. Gap into yesterday's high. I mean, day trade, we could get a setup with a stop under this pre-market low, but swing, there's nothing. All right, but I see Goldman up huge. Same. Maybe day trade, maybe put spread. This put spread, we can probably still get juice at 450 under this base. But earnings season starts tomorrow with Delta Airlines, and then we got 3 big banks on Friday, including JP Morgan usually kicks it off, but that looks good again. I actually would be open to doing a put spread on this into earnings, just because I think it killed so much. I think the path of least resistance is up to stabilization sideways. And then the WFC comes out, and I think BAC, but all right, back to these. So UNH. Look at that cap. I mean, that is huge. But what am I going to do with it? Same with this. ELV. Humana, $300. Now, had this been opening at 280, then I'd say buy a controlled pullback or 30-minute high, because then it has a void up here to the 200, but it's gapping to the 200 right now. So that's your target. Actually, some of these might be call spread candidates. Shop. Greg mentioned as a put spread, but these are a dime a dozen. These are all over the place. I like this one better just because it's a reversal at major support. XLF we talked about. Mo, another healthcare. Let's see, I can't tell where this one's opening now. But if this opens within yesterday's range, then I would say we could buy 30-minute high. The other ones are too extended, so I'm assuming this one's gonna have a big gap too. So we'll watch it. Schwab got an upgrade. Oh, I posted this as a put spread also. Schwab, another Climo bullish reversal. LUV, we're in. I did put spreads. Japan, I said Climo yesterday. Now look at that volume. That's having a nice, huge gap up. Monster gap on Japan there. It is GitLab. I didn't check puts, but put spread idea. Crocs. Let's see when we're in. EBH. This was in the weekend letter. Another kind of just bottoming pattern breakout thing. Oh, that's Gustavo's stock. Hey, this could be a put spread. New low reversal. I'll put that on my list. Yes, so some Bitcoin stock there. That's a nice 15-minute chart. Daily's a mess, but day trade IBIT. It's a Bitcoin ETF. Block, I don't see any gaps. All right, those are. Oh no, I didn't do earnings yet. All right, let me do that now. There's not many. I actually sold the $35 puts on this into earnings, similar to that Goldman chart, just because it's a Climo going into earnings. So I'm bidding 10 cents to close them. Levi, I was considering puts, remember I was considering the 11s or the 12s? That would have been a home run. Gap's too big. Play. 17s. Yeah, that's just a bounce in a downtrend, no interest. RPM. 30-minute high, we can check puts. WD-40, no pattern. Hell, Tilray dog. These marijuana stocks. Hey, who was in this room with us the day Tilray gapped up to $150, which was a big gap? I forget where it gapped from. Let's just say 110. So it gapped like $40 and rallied from 150 to $300 in one day. And now look at it, 57 cents from 300. I mean, look at these three moving averages. Just garbage. And this is, look at Michael Jackson here, the ETF. YOLO garbage. Man, this I would say marijuana number one, destruction of an ETF that I've seen. And then I'd say solar number two from this Biden cramming EVs down your throat. Look at this, $100 down to 27. So not as bad as marijuana, but all right, those are all earnings. Let's just Lulu. I had as a put spread yesterday, but we didn't get the premium, so I canceled it. Good. I think thought this had a downgrade. Gapping up. That's put spread idea. Alex, you mentioned this double line to me the other day. HYG. We do monitor this one all the time. Wow, that's a crazy move. So remember yesterday morning had these crazy moves on the false rumor. And I just got filled something right at the market open. Let's see what that was. Yeah, so the crazy move in the broader market, and then my big chart wasn't working, and then I'm like, holy cow, what just happened here? All these tails. That filled order. Okay, so flop. All right. I'm done. Yeah. Yeah, let's um I mean, I do like the weekly. It's kind of a new low reversal on major support. The dailies, I could see entering a third lot here, Don, on this if you're, and look at the monthly. Monthly's a buy setup. Tick 1400. I'm not buying anything here. QBTS, QUBT, IO. What's this one? Check up IONQ. Um, this one has too much resistance here to the left, and I don't like the weekly. So you see, Don, how the ABCD test. I like RIG-T. I like the other three to watch. So good, at least we got rid of one of them. But sure. Where's ADI? I see ADI rally. What's our put doing? 140. Yeah, that 25-cent bid is me. All the others are crazy spreads. Like 25 cent is me. Whereas the 155s are zero. Crazy spreads. I'm actually going to change it to a dime. All right. So yeah, let's maybe 30-minute high for directionals and also put spreads there, Don. IWM, looking at pre-market data, has a big M top on the, well, you can see it right here on the 15 also. See M top, you can see it clearer on the 5-minute. All right, dunking I gave as a put spread yesterday. I don't think it got filled. Wow, the AD line I just saw over 2,300. Man, this is quite an open. That's the Lima whiskey I had in the weekend letter as a put spread. Let me check 55s now. $55. Wow, massive. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's split spread idea. Over 57.70. Set my alarm. Yeah, I did, Alex. I said it was over 2,300, but it's a monster gap from the negative close at negative 1,500. Monster change from yesterday's. It's zero? Is my data wrong again? What's zero, Robert? Oh, you're answering him. Got it. Never mind. Never mind. I understand now. All right. Check my LUP. All the things are holding well. Microsoft actually is holding up the best, but there's no pattern. Well, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, that's a good one, Tim. This big bear, buy it in the gap fill as it's pulling back like everything else. BBAI. If it doesn't fill the gap, I don't know, whatever, 15-minute high consolidates at resistance, whatever it's going to do. If that one's already beaten down,
And I got filled on my VXX. Um, Greg and Alex, those 150 calls we shorted yesterday for $1.25, just closed them at 4 cents.
guess that's a good trade.
Yeah, just wish I did bigger share size.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Well, I mean, my intent was to add, but that's the problem. When you nail the entry, unless you're going to add at lower prices.
Seemed like a ridiculous kind of thing, like it could never go there, but you know how that goes. But Tim, I don't know what you're going to do with what you want to do with M chip. I don't know if you want to do if you're thinking to buy it or doing a put spread. If you're going to buy it, you could gap fill kind of thing if, turns around here, or we'll see if it recovers back toward the high of the day.
Trade here. Just got fill on something else. Here, bye-bye. Okay, fill up. My GBX puts. Yeah, but bang, are you kidding me? Looks great. Yeah. Earnings. One. By half over 315. So just like this other one. That I posted on the rum.
Ideally, it doesn't fill the gap in the morning anyway, Alex.
Yeah, no, I 1,000% agree. I disagree with Alex. No, filling a gap would be bearish. No, you can bullish gaps. You do not want them to, you do not want a gap fill.
I'm not so anxious to buy it above the high of the day either with this
Right.
gap.
But Alex,
But
visualize what the daily bar would look like.
it could come back up at the high of the day after it fills the gap. Could be a bottoming tail bar at the end of the day. I'd love to see maybe a bottoming tail bar on the 2 minute here. I'm looking at the 2 minute, or there's just no pattern. The thing that I wrote last night, it's like, is there a pattern? Is it a pattern that's part of your trading plan? There's patterns all day long, but is it something that you recognize or from the past that you trade? So right now, I don't. So if I'm gonna like a retest of a low, sideways at resistance, those would be only scalping trades because you got this big empty space below. How big are these gaps? Wow, the diamonds had almost a 2% gap. IWM a 2% gap. Spiders almost a 2% gap. Those are big gaps, but it was an inside day. So, in of itself, it sounds impressive. Q's over 3% gap.
The Q's three? I thought it was diamonds three.
Both. The Qs are 3.36%, and diamonds, well, diamonds are 1.5.
No, I don't believe that, Greg.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to believe it. That's what TC 2000 says, unless it's
No,
wrong.
no, I was watching the ticker on the news all morning long, and it was 2%, and then I saw it go all the way up to 2.9, and we did not sell off prior to the open, so I don't believe them.
Maybe it's wrong. Short it doesn't change it.
Yeah, yeah, shoot. I mean,
Now it says 3.5%. So something
oh,
was off there. I
oh,
just measured it.
yeah, I didn't believe it.
Maybe it's just going to be set up a lot of 1, 2, 3s. Prices are going to consolidate not
That's
too far from yesterday's high.
exactly what I'm wanting. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that would be easy. So the difficult part is if we just keep ripping here and then, you're in the,
Tesla and Google have 5 minute bottoming tail bars. That's okay, decent.
Sam, the answer is yes, we should have done both. Should have done both. Don, I have not put any live orders out other than uh, deck. Deck. The other ones I did not, but I'll go through them all right now. I'm buying Babay early here. Just Just buying 500, and over the high. Oh, and Tim's also asked me about microchip. No, I know what it is, Don. I'm the one that posted it. I'm just saying I don't I haven't checked premiums here yet. So Tim, you're asking about microchip long over these 2 days for a bounce, sure. Particularly because it's pulling in right here, so I like that better. Because then little red bar ignored. So ideally after 10 o'clock, that'd be a good entry. We did ADI yesterday, naked puts. Yeah, no, but yeah, we definitely should have shorted that VXX also. Yeah, totally. I guess my mind was just focused on that at the time. And looking at the 15-minute chart, you could have shorted a 15-minute low. Absolutely. The VXX, ETN or ETF, whatever it is. Yeah, you definitely could have, Sam. Absolutely. Sure. All right. Let's check out my deck. Deck goes. Oh, my order is not here. Did I put it in the wrong account? Yep. Put the order in the wrong account. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna get filled. Nobody is on deck the way it came in. All right, let me go through the others now. Done. I know I posted a bunch of them.
So now that we got these down bars, I'd be more confident trade above today's high, either even something like Nvidia. It's a big day yesterday. I don't think they can go too far, but who the hell knows? Yesterday, things were so flat, it helps, that we're flat in the afternoon. Didn't go anywhere to have this gap. Hughes tried to move up and looks like a peekaboo new hide and was a topping tail, so that's not a good sign unless it gets ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So do you short it? Do you go long? Do you do nothing?
Do nothing.
Oh, you could short it. I'm just saying, I'm talking, right? I haven't done it yet. I'm just saying, if you did short it and it took out the high of the day, say it doesn't go down much from here, reverse the position. You got a reverse button, right?
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, shorting doesn't make a lot of sense other than a, very short-term kind of trade, but things coming down as much as they have, and yesterday being the coma that it was in all afternoon, it's more supportive that it could go higher, but yesterday's range was so big. I'm just, my thoughts on the pattern is that it doesn't go that much higher. But so far, that topping tail's being ignored. Yeah, did Falcon fix your machine?
They upgraded to 11, but no, they didn't do the slowness thing. They said they would do that today. They wanted to do Windows first.
Okay.
But it is still slow as heck today. And I sent you my email from Dell. They're telling me to friggin' reinstall the operating system. It's fourth time now. It's just ridiculous.
Apple looks decent here.
Yeah, I posted that. It's
Spiders coming up.
foot spread too.
Apple relative weakness. It didn't get near yesterday's high, but maybe it'll do a little catch up here. Range.
But one by one. That's what's Amazon. 16. Midpoint is 20 cents. Don't forget that. Unless we adjust the strikes.
Okay, we got green bars negating a topping tail, so now if we could get our wish as a pattern, I'd love to have an inside bar next one, but if it takes out the high of the day, I'm gonna buy it with a stop under the low of the day. Well,
And
a
any
little
new,
bit more than a stop under the low of the day, but ideally it ain't gonna take out the low of the day.
any 10 o'clock news you need to be aware of?
I don't know, tell me.
I don't know, didn't we? I'm just giving you a heads up. Because it's so close to it. Midpoint 32, that's not gonna get filled. I think, no, I just think Q's look the best. So I am just glancing at the 5 minute. Because the last bar made a new high, the other ones didn't. So yeah, even the 415 puts, I've sucked out the juice. Well, there's still juice for Friday. Let me. Craig, you doing spiders or Qs?
Use Apple, Nvidia. There's no numbers at 10 o'clock.
Man, they really sucked this juice out. I mean, that's why when volatility's like that, it takes a little bit of aggressiveness. Because then just the vol contraction is such a benefit to option sellers. All right, these are two more I gave. Guam 66. Nothing. Miners 475.
Walmart, put spread candidate, Dan?
Man. So Don, the answer is no. I didn't get, none of these are going. Definitely. I'd go out to next week for that. Check Friday first. Wow, not much more for next week. Looks like a good day trade here too. Or what about directional? Do you have any interest?
In what?